Welcome. My name is Afari Richmond. In this video, we'll be using C++ to determine even and odd numbers. First of all, even numbers are numbers that are divisible by 2 without a remainder. And then odd numbers, on the other hand, gives a remainder when divided by 2. So our focus here is on the remainder because it is the only option or the only variable that we use to distinguish between even and odd numbers. So let's get started. If you have your dev C++ installed, here is the basic setup you need to do or things you need to set up on the page before you start coding anything. The first one is hash include IO stream. This allows us, the hash include IO stream allows us to use basic C++ commands such as the cin, cout, all those commands. Without the hash include, you can't use C++ won't recognize those commands. And then using namespace std. This one too allows us to write simple commands without necessary ending with std : count. We get use of normal command. You can just type anything ending with just the semicolon without typing std is to count. We won't use that. And then main, and then open and close brackets, open another curly brackets. This is where our main work, our coding will be constructed. That's why it's the main option. Then our question or our aim here is to determine even and odd numbers such that the user will input a number and then the code will determine if the number the user typed is an even number or an odd number. So numbers are integers. So int a, integer a. Integer a, we are simply using a as a variable to represent the integer where the integer will be stored. And then we cout. Cout meaning we want the code to display on the screen. Enter the number. So we want the code to display on the screen to the user to enter the number the user wants to know if it's an even number or odd number. And then after that we cin. To allow the user to type the number, we need to cin for the code to allow the user or accept an answer from the user. After that, we now have the number. Then we need to determine if it's an odd number or even number. So we use the if statement or conditional statement. If, and as we said before, the remainder is what we use to determine even and odd numbers. So in C++, if you want to find remainder or work with remainder, we use the percentage sign. So a percentage 2. This means that if the remainder of a when divided by 2, that's how we read this statement, is equal to 0. So if the remainder of a when divided by 2 is equal to 0, then C++ should print, that is cout even number, because even numbers are divisible by 2 without a remainder. So if the remainder when divided by 2 is equal to 0, C++ should print out even number. Else if the remainder is not 2, C++ should print out odd number. Let me end the line. So this is it. Then we need to return to 0. Return 0 to end our code. So let's try. We use F11 to compile and run. F11. It will compile. Here is our result. So enter the number 4 as an example. 4 is an even number. And then let's try an odd number. Let's use 5. 5 is an odd number. So that's it. This is how you can use C++ to allow the user to input a number and then determine if the number is an even number or an odd number. Thank you for watching.